to practice. Okay, number 3, what is the best title? We're looking for the best title. Now, in this case, you don't need to, go back to the selection na. Okay? Again, you remember what you read. After reading, wag nyo naman kalimutan yung, yung selection. No? You remember what you read. And then you look at the choices. War, products of war, the need for war, elements of war. Okay? Which is the most reasonable, or the most sensible, or the most, the most appropriate selection or title, sorry, for the selection. Okay, so it talks about war, definitely. Okay, it didn't talk about the products of war. I don't think so. It didn't talk about any result of war. Wala siyang minention. The need for war, he didn't even talk about that. He didn't discuss about the need for war. No, he didn't even discuss the elements of war. So definitely, the most appropriate and best title is just generally war. No, so out, and out. Okay. Okay. Number 4. What does the statement "all animals wage perpetual war" mean? Okay. Now, when you encounter these kinds of questions, yung mga questions that isolate sentences from the paragraph, yung kinukuha pinipiling sentences, tatanungin kayo, what does it mean? What does this sentence mean? Okay? First, do not when you try to find the meaning of these statements, of these sentences, do not isolate them from the paragraph. Okay, wag yung ihiwalay yung meaning nila sa meaning ng buong paragraph. Don't do that. Because if you do that, then you can choose any answer here is is a good answer. 'Di ba? 'Di ba? Kung isipin niyo, kung ihiwalay yung meaning ng statement na to sa buong paragraph, any possible answer here is actually an answer. 'Di ba? However, if you contextualize this sentence, okay, if you with the entire paragraph, you will actually end up you will see that some of the possible answers here does not make sense at all. Okay, so in this case, okay, itong letter C, for example, only animals and not men engage in war. Diba? Doesn't make sense at all. Because in the passage, it talks about males and females. So they're definitely men. Definitely human. They're definitely human. Okay, so not letter C, of course, not letter C. Letter D, all animals make war all the time. Could be, all war never ends. Could be, there is also some kind of war occurring. There's always some kind of war occurring someplace. Could be again. However, how do you choose the best between all of these? Because essentially they can mean either this, this, or this, right? Because perpetual war means a never-ending war. Hindi siya a war that never ends, a ceaseless war. But when you contextualize this sentence with a whole paragraph, you will see that the best possible answer here is letter B. Okay. No? So let's read again. There's always some kind of war occurring someplace. Okay? So it talks about animals, right? All animals wage perpetual war. Every species is born to devour another. Not one, not even sheep or doves that does not swallow a prodigious number of invisible creatures. Okay? Males make war for the females. So, hindi na pwede ang D. Right? It could not be D already. Because again, we are contextualizing the sentence. We are relating the sentence with the entire paragraph. Okay? So, it could, so if, so now, not letter D, so now we eliminate letter A. Why do we eliminate letter A? No? All war never ends. Well, the passage does not say that that it never ends. It's not exactly, or it did not explicitly or exactly say that all war never ends. It's just that they wage these wars, and this war does not end. No? Does that make sense or what? But okay, let's explain letter B then. So why is it letter B? There's always some kind of war occurring some place. Okay, so remember, look at this. Um, so war, the sheep wages war, okay, with another in some other place. Even dogs wage war in another place, different from a sheep. All right, every species, all these species wage war in some place else, right? So there is always a kind of war, no, among these species that occurs someplace, right? It's not talking about a single war or all wars, but some kinds of wars. If that makes sense. Okay, I think it makes sense. I guess it does. Okay? Kasi, actually letter A is also a very good answer. But, ano ba? Hindi kasi yun yung total meaning ng buong paragraph. Eh. It's not the whole meaning. Diba? So, that if letter A is a good answer kapag i-isolate natin, kapag ihihiwalay natin yung meaning ng sentence na yan from the paragraph itself. Okay? But since, again, we are looking at the entire paragraph, we're looking at the context, the big picture, then letter B is the more likely answer. Okay? Now, this is actually a very tricky one, I guess. So, okay. So now that's that. Alright? For reading comprehension. Now we proceed to sentence completion. Sentence completion generally looks like this, right? They give you a blank space, okay? And you're supposed to fill them out according to the best answer or the best word that could fit the sentence. Okay, this is where context clues can be very helpful, right? Because you are trying to place words, okay, with different meanings. So how will you now choose the best possible word, okay, that would fit the sentence? Answer, context clues. Maghanap kayo ng clues that will help you lead the word that is most sensible. That will, that is most sensible. That is most appropriate for this sentence. Okay? So, context clues. The blank of such visionary notions. Okay, visionary notions about reforms is reflected in the quick disintegration of that unrealistic, much publicized do-gooder club. Okay? So, it is an unrealistic do-gooder club. Okay? We're talking about visionary notions. Okay. Now, let's test them out. The unseemliness of such visionary notions, maybe. The grandeur, most likely not. Okay, most likely not. We're not talking about the grandeur of any notion, I guess. I mean, if you compare all these words, or if you look at the sentence, the simplicity of such visionary notions, probably. But idealism is among all of these, compared to impracticability, simplicity, grandeur, or seemliness, idealism is a good choice. Bakit? No? Look at this. Look at the words unrealistic. Look at the words visionary. Which among these words, no, best would is can be logically related to these context clues? No, the answer there is idealism. Okay, so let's try. Let's try it. No, the idealism of such visionary notions about reforms is reflected in the quick disintegration of that unrealistic, diba? Of that unrealistic, right? Ibig sabihin, this kind of visionary notion, no, is characterized by the unrealistic club. So, I guess from that, you can proceed to conclude or infer that that club is a club that loves idealism. Kasi unrealistic sila. Diba? They're unrealistic. Diba? So so that's the answer. Idealism is the answer here, not simplicity, not unseemliness, not impracticability. Okay? And you know what could help here? Vocabulary. Diba? If you know the meaning of these words, you will have a very, very easy time answering these questions. No? So, again, strengthen your vocabulary. Okay? Next, even farmers who toil in the fields deserve to be treated with blank. Okay? Number one, equality. Two, care. Three, importance. Four, respect. Five, preference. Hmm. Quite tricky. Okay, so take note of the word even and treated with. Okay? Even farmers. Ibig sabihin, may iniisip tong, pag sinabi niyang even farmers, parang kino-compare niya sa ibang sa ibang mga professions, for example. No? So, if it, and so we'll try to complete it, no? The farmers who toil in the fields deserve to be treated with equality. It's a weird way to complete the sentence, is it not? To be treated with equality. Quite weird. No? But baka pwedeng to be treated equally, no? But not with equality, which is a better way of saying it. So maybe not equality. To be treated with care, does that make sense? You want to treat farmers with care? Ano to? Ano sila, package? Diba? Are they ano sila, mga parcels? Okay, even farmers to be treated with importance, it's a very awkward way of treating them. Treating them with importance. Weird way of completing a sentence. Treating them with respect. That's something that can be reasonable. No? Respect. Treating them with preference. Probably. But does it make the most sense? No? Even farmers who toil in the fields deserve to be treated with preference. Well, actually, if you think about it, everyone deserves to be treated with preference. No? So, if we put on preference, no, as opposed to respect, which I think respect is the most reasonable, and best answer here, no, because if we put in for, let's complete the sentence. Even farmers who toil in the fields deserve to be treated with respect. Right? It makes the most sense out of all of these, words. No? So again, what will help you make sure that your answer is correct? Vocabulary. Okay? And context. Contextualizing and analyzing the sentence. Okay? So, mixed ang gawin nyo dito. You use critical thinking, okay, and you use vocabulary. You use your, vocabulary. Okay? Okay, next question. Business leaders proclaim enthusiastically that we now have enough evidence with blank confidence that globalization is here to stay. Okay. So, they are proclaiming enthusiastically that we now have enough evidence with blank confidence that globalization is here to stay. Okay, you now have reasonable confidence, maybe renewed confidence, probably not renewed, because if it's renewed, then something must have occurred before, right? Kasi renewed means, parang bago ulit. I think. Bago ulit, no? Renewed. Ample means enough. Okay? Eager, maybe, means you're enthusiastic, which is definitely not a good adjective. Symbolic, not a good adjective as well. Doesn't make sense. Symbolic confidence doesn't make sense. Okay, so now we have two likely choices. Reasonable and ample. Now, if you say reasonable confidence, okay, what does the word reasonable mean ba? Okay, when you say reasonable kasi something that means that something that is within reason. So if you try and think about it, business leaders proclaim enthusiastically that we now have enough evidence with within reasonable or with reasonable confidence or with confidence that is within reason. It's quite it's quite parang it's quite weird and awkward to make this your choice. But if you put ample, which means enough confidence, now that makes a bit more sense. Diba? If you say, I have enough confidence to say that globalization is here to stay, then, which is, that is, I think, the best way to say it. No? You have enough confidence, you have ample confidence that globalization is here to stay. Alright? So, again, halo ulit, no? Critical thinking plus good vocabulary. Para alam nyong sure kayo sa sagot ninyo or tama ang sagot ninyo. Okay? So, yeah, that ends the presentation and the review. So again, as always, if you have any suggestions that could improve on this module or any errors or mistake that I have shared with you, no, please do not hesitate to message the page moderator of Batas for Everyone, and he shall inform me of such remarks. No, and I will do my best to improve on it according to your remarks. Okay. So thank you for listening, and I hope you are well and safe.